Monster trucks, the mighty giant of motorsport racing that guarantee action, air, and adrenaline with every performance. From sold-out arenas to local fairgrounds. We'll discover why size really does matter, what it takes to get behind the wheel, and how danger lurks around every turn. As we go flipping, smashing, and flying into the secret world of monster trucks. Monster trucks, extreme machines built for power and speed, have become the fastest growing racing phenomenon in motorsports. With names like Bigfoot, Gravedigger, Gunslinger, and Executioner, monster trucks mesmerize their audience by their sheer size and ability to roll over anything in their path.
The best way to define a monster truck would be to consider it a really high-tech, custom-built, hand-built racing machine, built really for abuse. It looks like a truck, but it's got all the qualities of a tank.
Weighing up to 10,000 pounds, these mammoth creations crush, smash, and destroy anything that stands between them and the finish line.
I think the popularity of these trucks is just their sheer power. It's impressive to see a monster truck just destroy an automobile.
There he goes.
Monster trucks generate between 1,000 and 2,000 horsepower, 10 to 20 times the normal horsepower of a car. Their massive engines can reach speeds of up to 80 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds.
If you ever think that you're in total control of a monster truck, you're wrong. I mean, that truck's going to teach you something every time you get in it.
While drag racing is the most common event at a monster truck show, each 2-hour performance is filled with a variety of events that all add up to non-stop motor madness. Last year, monster truck racing attracted over 9 million television viewers and event spectators, making it one of the fastest growing motorsports in America.
I think you can kind of compare the motorsports industry as a whole into a lot of other sports. You know, the NHL and NASCAR are very similar. Close quarters, banging, collisions. National Basketball Association and Supercross. Big air, jumps, slam dunks. And then I see the monster truck industry is more like the NFL, the big, freakish type humans or vehicles that are just explosive in nature, and people are drawn to that.
But the average monster truck racing fan isn't what you would expect.
We'll do a special one for you, Kay.
If it wasn't for kids, I wouldn't have a job.
Children are a big part of the monster truck audience. To a kid, they're big, they're loud, they're colorful. It's almost like watching a cartoon in real life.
The more mature racing fan can appreciate monster trucks for their craftsmanship and the racing that goes on. Kids love them because they're big trucks that crush cars. This combines the best of both worlds.
One thing that sets monster truck racing apart from other forms of auto racing is how owners and drivers are paid.
Monster trucks are a little bit unique from other forms of motorsports in that we typically at most events we get paid a set amount. Now we have to of course perform well to get that amount, and the better you perform over the years, the more money you can ask for.
But even though a monster truck racer knows he'll get paid no matter what the outcome of the race, he still wants the bragging rights that go along with being a winner.
these guys would be competitive if you would run them after a stick of bubble gum. I mean, that's just the nature of a racer.
Whether competing in a straight line drag race or a tricky circle course, when it comes to steering a monster truck, the driver has his hands full.
Dennis Anderson in the lead.
Steering a monster truck is not the same as a regular pickup. We run strictly hydraulics. You have to, for the great big tires. The tires weigh 700 pounds apiece.
Really, in the monster truck, you're driving the tires. You're not really driving the truck. You put the tires to the end of the track before the other guy does, then you win the race.
A monster truck's front tires are controlled by the steering wheel, while the rear tires are separately controlled by a mounted toggle switch.
You actually shift the truck and run the rear steering with one hand and drive with the other hand.
Although the style of race changes from show to show, the freestyle competition is usually the sensational grand finale in a monster truck event.
As far as freestyle goes, you want to basically go out and just show the fans what the truck is capable of.
He's got it for a long jump going that way, but you want to hit it this way. It's really steep. You can get a really nice wheelie off of it. Okay.
Freestyle is where basically there's no rules. We'll do wheelies, we'll do donuts, we'll fly as far as we can over the cars. Anything that it takes until we've fully entertained everybody.
The driver's performance in freestyle is the last impression he can make on a fan. Sometimes, drivers willingly drive on the edge to make that impression last.
If somebody was actually purposely going to roll a truck at a show, they would probably do it in freestyle, and the reason they would do it is because somebody else has already done a better freestyle, and they're trying to steal the show back from the crowd.
There are a couple drivers that actually do that, roll their trucks to get the crowd back.
To me, as a driver, it's not justifiable.
A good rollover may break the truck, but it makes the show. Many times, that is all the fans come to see.
I like the noise. I like the way they crush the cars. I especially like the way they crash.
People want to see wrecks. Honestly, that's why you go see a motorsports event. You want to see someone get some high air and maybe flip over.
Whoa, baby. Yeah, we turned her over. She's over. That's what the people want. That's what they got. And I got a tore-up truck.
I think a good crash is healthy, honestly. In today's society, people definitely thrive on that possibility of a crash. When a monster truck is up on two wheels, it leaves you in suspense on that ragged edge of, is he gonna, isn't he gonna?
In Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, Dan Patrick and his truck Samson didn't keep fans in suspense for long when he won the Monster Truck Racing Association's Wreck of the Year award.
To earn the MTR Wreck of the Year award, you have to do something pretty outstanding. I was going to go out of bounds, so I turned the wheel to get back in bounds. But at 70+ mile an hour, it flipped 4 times. And when it was all done, it had 3 wheels left on it, and it was totally naked. Nobody has topped that.
It's the spectacular wrecks and devastating crashes that turn ordinary monsters into legends. And no one has created a legacy of crashing more than Dennis Anderson and his monster truck, Gravedigger.
I've crashed more than anybody else out there, I guarantee you that. I've probably rolled it, say, 300 times. I drive the truck wild and crazy, always have and always will.
When he started, he crashed a lot. Either he didn't drive well, or the track didn't accommodate, or the truck broke. And well, that became what everybody knew him at. They used to call him One Run Anderson because it was going to be one run, but it was going to be spectacular.
But spectacular racing comes with a high price.
In Rosemont Horizon, I got my knee lodged up underneath the roll cage, and it broke my patella. That hurt. It hurt for a long time. And then in Louisville, Kentucky, I didn't want him to beat, so I just mashed it for everything. I knew I was taking a chance. I was going to get a lot of air. I shouldn't have hit the ramp as hard as I did, but what the heck, I did it, and I sacrificed 3 of my ribs.
With Anderson's wild driving style and the ominous look of his truck, it's no wonder Gravedigger is a fan favorite.
This truck is the coolest looking truck out there. I mean, it has these glaring red headlights that look like, you know, it's like evil eyes, and then green flames coming off the front end. On the side of the van, that is tombstones with other monster trucks' names on them.
But the most important tombstone in Gravedigger Cemetery is Bigfoot.
I think the main reason that Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger have such a big crowd following is he was the first monster truck that really knocked off Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, the original monster truck, is still the reigning king. Created by Bob Chandler in the late 70s, it was this monster that spawned a multi-million-dollar industry.
Well, I bought a brand new pickup truck in 1975, and the changes I made back then were just tires and wheels initially. And eventually I started changing. I put a bigger engine in. And it was a vicious cycle because over the next 3 or 4 years I kept changing things. I put bigger tires on and I'd break axles, so I'd put bigger axles under the truck.
Eventually, Bob found the winning combination and decided to put his big monster to a small test.
We talked about driving over a set of cars. We went to the field one morning. You know, it looks simple enough. The truck's got big tires. And it was easy. The truck drove right over the top of the cars very, very easily. Somebody videotaping it. Promoters saw it a couple times and they said, "You need to do this in front of a crowd."
But it wasn't until Chandler's show in the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan that he learned just how big his truck would become.
There were 72,000 people at the show, and I went up on top of the cars and stopped like an army did. And 30,000 of those people jumped the walls and surrounded the truck. I couldn't move for almost a half hour. I locked the doors because I didn't know what was going to happen.
What happened next was the start of the hottest and fastest way to make money in motorsports.
When people started to copy the truck, it dawned on us that this was probably here to stay.
In the beginning, monster trucks were used only as exhibitions at county fairs and tractor pulls.
One of the first things we used to do was pull a sled like the truck pullers did.
As Bob and his team kept refining this creation, it was his own technological innovations that took monster trucks from a sideshow act to the main attraction.
The innovations that I've probably put in the monster truck field, probably pretty extensive since I started it. Everything from putting a planetary axle on a truck so we didn't break axles, to cutting the tires for lightweight, to going to a tube chassis, fiberglass bodies.
Lighter bodies and frames enabled trucks to fly farther and faster, but land even harder. It was yet another Chandler application, nitrogen shocks, that propelled monster trucks into a whole new arena of racing.
And nitrogen shocks really drastically changed the sport. They made the trucks capable of doing things that they never could before. A truck with more suspension is able to absorb quite a bit more impact, a lot less abuse on the driver as well.
But even the most advanced suspension can't completely soften the blow of landing a 10,000-pound truck at 90 miles an hour.
The worst part about being a monster truck driver is probably the pain. We're doing about 10 to 12 Gs a dozen times a day. There's mornings you just don't get up quite as quick as others.
A lot of times when you come down, it's like being in a car wreck. It's a rough hit every now and then.
Although less than 25 years old, monster truck racing has roots that lie deep within American culture.
I think monster trucks are so popular because it really ties in with the whole affinity that the American people have with trucks in general. Americans identify with the fact that they really are a pure symbol of practicality.
I think probably only in America could this have happened. This is a big country, and the trucks just fit the image.
Perhaps the growing popularity of monster trucks has helped to create the automotive industry's latest trend.
For the last 5 to 6 years, Chevrolet, Ford, and Dodge have all sold more trucks than they've sold cars.
We look at a monster truck and we think, wow, you know, I could do that. I have a pickup truck at home.
Inspired by the high visibility of monster trucks, pickup enthusiasts work hard to create a show of their own.
A truck today is almost like a piece of clothing. Customizing a truck is really a means of reflecting to the public who the owner of this vehicle is. When you see my truck, you're seeing who I am, and that is very important to us as a culture. They're obviously making a statement.
Combining the appeal of the pickup truck with the good old-fashioned lure of racing, monster trucks captivate audiences wherever they go. Next, how to build a monster body and what it's like to take a monster truck on a test ride.
The best of TLC Week begins Sunday on TLC.
This TLC program is sponsored in part by Deja.com for smarter decisions before you buy.
I'm not a shopper. I'm a hunter. And I prepare for the hunt on Deja.com. Deja.com is where other hunters go to gather information. User reviews, ratings of different products. Like this digital camera that I'm thinking of buying. So this guy says it's too heavy. So I decided on a different model. I hunt better with information like this. I'm bagging this baby here.
Get information and advice for smarter decisions at Deja.com before you buy.
Savan pants. Soft, comfortable, stylish. So you'll look good no matter what happens.
In 6th grade, about 1 in 13 kids have tried pot. In 7th, about 1 in 5. Be sure your kids know you don't want them to use drugs. In 6th grade, about 1 in 13 kids have tried pot. In 7th, about 1 in 5. Be sure your kids know you don't want them to use drugs.
Now at Zales, celebrate the new millennium with diamonds for only $99. Dazzling diamond earrings, elegant diamond rings, even diamond heart pendants, each just $99. A pretty great price for something that lasts a lifetime. And with any purchase of $99 or more, you can also get this rose box with classic diamond earrings for just $29 at Zales stores or shop online at Zales.com.
This year, TLC took you on adventures that left you breathless.
It looks real.
Told you stories that gave you hope.
You're gonna be fine.
And took you to the edge.
There's still only one evil to me.
Now, TLC presents 7 nights packed with our most watched, most talked about programs of '99.
The most strange and unusual attraction.
The biggest thrills, the biggest chills. Every night next week on the best of TLC.
We all want good health. Now there's a TV channel that can help you get it. Discovery Health Channel. Health is experts you can trust. Real stories that inspire you. Information that could change your life. Health is Discovery Health Channel. To get it, call your local cable or satellite provider. Because in today's world, good health doesn't just happen. You have to ask for it.
The King brothers, separated at birth. George King went to a family that subscribed to fishing magazines. James's family subscribed to the Wall Street Journal. 28 years later, George lives with his parents, while his brother James started a B2B web company and went public with a record first-day pop. Food for thought, especially since you can get 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just 57 cents a day. That's 25% off the regular rate. Call 800-923-3300. That's 800-923-3300 for the Wall Street Journal.
For those who yearn to get behind the wheel of a monster truck, potential drivers have one of two options. Shell out big bucks to own a truck, or work your way up from the bottom.
The best way to get started in a monster truck really is to work for someone else. The Bigfoot team is always a team to go to. They've got a lot of trucks, a lot going on. There's a lot of opportunities.
The Bigfoot team has up to 10 trucks on the road at a time. Crew members start small in the hopes of earning a place in the driver's seat. But the majority of monster trucks are independently owned and operated and cannot afford the luxury of hiring a crew.
There's only a couple organizations that actually hire drivers to run their trucks.
The other hopeful drivers have to start from scratch by building their own truck to drive.
I always say that when you start building a monster truck, you start with a broom. You know, you sweep off a good space on the floor and you lay out some pipe and tubing there and start welding on it.
With engines valued at up to $60,000 and tires that can carry a price tag of $2,000 apiece, the total cost of a monster truck can reach as high as $250,000, and design mistakes can push that number even higher. That's why many design their trucks using some seriously sophisticated technology.
I can do a lot of testing on the computer, and we put that all together before we start a truck.
Using state-of-the-art software, Bob Chandler is able to keep pushing the envelope on what his monster truck Bigfoot can accomplish out on the track.
Everybody's always trying to go one step further and try something new. But we were first, and we've kind of been the leader over the years.
But no matter what tools you use to build your truck, the end result is the same: a custom hand-built racing machine.
A monster truck has more moving parts than any other race vehicle built.
But you won't find many monster truck parts at your local automotive store.
Most of the equipment that we use on the trucks were basically originally made for something else. The axles that we use are made for a four-wheel drive tractor. And of course, the engines and transmissions are basically an automotive unit that's been modified.
Even the 700-pound tires manufactured for fertilizer spreaders are modified. Shaving the tires creates a custom tread and takes off unnecessary weight. But perhaps the biggest secret of monster trucks is they're not really trucks at all.
I think the biggest misconception people have about monster trucks is that they're pickup trucks that have been made bigger. The only thing that makes them trucks is we put truck-style bodies on them and call them trucks.
The bodies are all fiberglass that just bolt on.
The headlights are painted on and look like real headlights and taillights.
After building the chassis or mainframe of the truck, the monster truck builder will choose a body style which he thinks will attract the most fans.
If you want to have loyal following with your fans and spectators, they are brand loyal. All they know that it's a Chevrolet or it's a Ford. They know it's a racing vehicle, but they're more loyal to the brand of vehicle.
Brand loyalty is exactly what sponsors are banking on, contributing either money or products to monster truck owners, so they too can be a part of a truck's winning streak.
Sponsors do play a very important role in a race team. If you're on the Lexan underneath, that means you're a product sponsor. You've donated product for the vehicle, to keep the vehicle running, whatever. If the sticker is actually on the body, it means it's a money sponsor. They need the most recognition, that's why they're on the body.
When designing the truck body, owners try to create an image or persona to which the fans can relate. Trucks designed around a character or merchandising concept are called sculptured or design trucks.
Probably some of the appeals of the design trucks is because of the fans can relate, and they usually promote the vehicles.
George Link, owner of GTS Fiberglass and the maker of such design trucks as Samson, Bulldozer, and Jurassic Attack, is one of the leading authorities on monster bodybuilding.
Basically, when we get the designs, large blocks of foam are glued to the vehicle. And once we get the foam carved to the desired description we want, then we turn around and we build our part inside of the mold. And that's our finished product.
From sketch to fiberglass mold, each design body is painstakingly handcrafted and takes anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months to be completed. The mold for a standard body can be completed in as little as 3 days.
The standard bodies run around $2,200 to build. Now the sculpted vehicles can run up into $25,000 or $30,000 because of the time it takes to build the actual parts.
But for those without the time to design and build a monster truck, there is the option of buying one that's already built.
If somebody wants to start out now, they basically have to just go buy their own thing.
Steve Macklin did just that, but buying the truck was just the beginning.
I purchased a tractor and a trailer to haul it around, and of course the truck itself. Then I purchased a number of spare parts that will help me progress through the different stages of the sport.
Already a part-time racer in a variety of motorsports, Steve is ready to take the plunge and invest in his dream of becoming a full-time monster truck racer.
At this point, I've invested over $115,000 to get to the point where I'm at now.
From a seat-belted in position like you can't reach forward.
Right.
To start his racing career, Steve must first be certified by the Monster Truck Racing Association, or MTRA, before top promoters will even consider hiring him for an event.
The MTRA official is going to make sure that he can reach his ignition switches, make sure he can reach his emergency shutdown switches, and all that with his eyes closed.
Go to your fuel shut-off, okay? Go to your fire control system, all righty, and your magneto. You got it. Go back to your main power. All right, not a problem.
Having successfully mastered the first part of the test, Steve must now drive his truck to prove he has complete command of his vehicle. If the MTRA officials feel Steve is out of control, his truck will be shut down by a remote ignition interrupter.
The MTRA has developed the RII system, a remote ignition interrupter, that allows track officials to shut these vehicles off via remote control if something happens.
Every single time a monster truck performs, the RII is used, giving officials complete command over the truck in case a driver or fan is in danger.
Turning a lot faster than I was used to seeing it.
Steve steers his truck in small circles, proving to the officials that he has mastered the difficult steering system.
After we're convinced that the driver can maneuver his vehicle around and he understands the rear steering, then we'll let him go over some cars or a jump or two here or there in a safe area where there's not people around.
After his first run, the officials offer Steve some advice.
When you hit that ramp, you can hit it with a little more. And
okay, I just want to make sure we're cool.
That's the way to do it. You're doing perfect.
Good.
You comfortable in there?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It'll come back to you with the racing experience. You'll get used to it quick.
After several successful passes, it looks like Steve is a natural.
That's a good, perfect. You don't get to practice this at home. So it's the only place you get to play the game.
Tim gives Steve the good news.
Congratulations.
Appreciate your help. Thank you very much,
That
Tim.
last jump was a good one, and your turns and stuff were good, and your jumps were good, and now you got the feel of
the landing.
What happens when they land, and that's...
Oh, I had a great time. Yeah, I'm just still going, man. We need to shake it.
Hold your hand out there once.
Well, it's... No, I had a good time. I appreciated everybody helping out, and I'm looking forward to come back again. I just want to know if they need an 8th truck in the race.
Steve Macklin, now a certified monster truck driver, is ready to start racing and making a return on his investment. Next, a not-so-ordinary day at the races and a chip off the old engine block.
Kate works in the city of E, the first virtual place on the internet. Built by SAP, used by 10,000 companies and millions of people. When she needs medical supplies, her choices are endless. The world is her market, And by saving hours of time and thousands of dollars, she helps save something more important than both. MySAP.com. Welcome to the City of E.
Tonight, like never before, you can relax and not worry if your dentures are clean. Because you started the day with new Fix-It and Cleanser with ProGuard. This unique tablet and denture bath system not only gets dentures 4 times cleaner, it creates the ProGuard barrier, proven to protect against plaque and odor-causing bacteria all day, so that clean feeling lasts from morning till your goodnight kiss. New Fix-It with ProGuard. Start cleaner, stay cleaner.
What's that? The new Rugrats Edition Gateway Astro PC.
I'm glad I thought of it, Drew.
I thought of it. It's internet ready. Wow! And comes with lots of stuff kids need in a PC. Wow! Plus 5 Rugrats and Nickelodeon software titles. Wow! It's $899 with an Intel Celeron processor.
Brilliance. Sheer brilliance.
Order by the 20th for guaranteed Christmas delivery.
Tuesday on the Best of TLC. When you're skydiving, the last thing you want to do is stop real fast.
The parachuter who went all the way to the ground?
If it wasn't for young adult males, I would have very little business.
Trauma doctors fight to save a life in an Arizona ER. Then, paramedics in Hollywood may not be movie stars.
Rescue 33, respond.
But they're heroes in real life. Later, it's car versus bicycle.
He was wearing his helmet, and that's what saved his life.
Trauma Center, Tuesday at 8 on the Best of TLC.
Sure that's just healthy?
Same as I was drinking last night.
Although each monster truck performance appears effortless, nothing could take place without the hard work of the show's promoter.
As a promoter, we're responsible for everything in an event, starting with the safety of the individuals who patronize the event, right down to the fact that the restrooms are clean, the insurance is in place, the concessions are good, and that the crowd has a good return on their investment, which is the purchase of a ticket.
Monster truck racing is a relatively new motorsport, but promoters have always known that mixing the latest racing technology with a need for speed is a guaranteed hit.
I think the whole notion of what monster trucks give to their audience really has roots that go back into the old barnstorming days when you had these stunt shows that would travel the country and putting on shows that were under the auspice of a race. But really what they were was a chance to see the equipment doing its thing. And I see a lot of that spirit in monster truck racing today.
The sound is unmistakable. The power is unstoppable.
Although today's shows are quite different from the days of old, the job of the promoter has stayed the same.
Some of the responsibilities of the promoter, one is to create as much hype about your event as possible.
Monster Show! Because monster trucks on 4 wheels are back in town for the last time at the Kingdom! And every seat is just $10. Monster Trucks!
But to guarantee thrills to the crowd, you've got to start with a great racetrack.
The secret to building a track is to make it level to where the guys don't upset the truck before they get to the ramp. Let the ramp take and launch the truck.
We need to double check and make sure that this width here is a little bit flatter.
Same principle that Knievel uses to get himself over so many cars. It's the last 5 or 6 foot on the ramp that actually puts the truck where it needs to be.
And don't forget, we got to move the porta-john.
Adjusting the height and width of the ramps, as well as using junk cars as hurdles, creates an obstacle course designed for air, speed, and destruction. But the most crucial element of a fantastic show starts in the dirt.
If you asked a driver what the best dirt would be, is a clay base where it's tacky or hooking dirt, and that the guys can get great hole shots, pull wheelies, corner without spinning out.
Sandy dirt can make monster truck tires spin, and rocky dirt can create projectiles that are hazardous to spectators and other drivers. The bottom line is, good dirt doesn't come cheap.
I don't want to touch it. If you're talking a monster truck show in a stadium, you would probably need about 70, 80 truckloads of dirt.
All right.
We own a lot of dirt in a lot of cities, but if we don't own it and we bring it in, the whole process could run anywhere from possibly $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
Looks good. Track's coming around.
The amount of dirt needed for an event depends on the venue and the racing season.
There's basically two seasons to monster truck shows and racing. There's the indoor season, which is basically January, February, and March. And then there's the outdoor season, which is March through November.
Each season brings a unique and different element to the monster truck show.
There are different elements that thrive indoors and outdoors. Outdoors, we can lengthen the tracks out. We can add extra obstacles. They can lay it all on the line because they have more room outdoors. I personally enjoy the indoor events. It allows you to be up close to the track surface. You can actually feel the noise of the motors and adrenaline that you get out of that. Almost you can live vicariously through those trucks' motions and the drivers.
But another reason promoters love indoor stadium shows is their large seating capacity.
It is not uncommon at our indoor stadium shows to have attendance figures that reach in excess of 60,000 fans.
Although bringing in record crowds and creating a spectacular show is in the forefront of every promoter's mind, safety is always the #1 priority.
Greg, is he in the back of the ambulance there? The #1 responsibility of a promoter is safety of the crowd, the drivers, and then the staff.
At every Pace Motorsports event, each truck must pass a thorough mechanical inspection before competing in the field. The United States Hot Rod Association, or USHRA, was created by Pace Motorsports as the governing safety organization for all of their events.
We pride ourselves of being the benchmark of safety in the industry.
There are many elements that contribute to the safety of the driver and fans. But in the event of an accident, there's nothing more important to a driver than his little ring.
The first guy on the scene is to come here and pull this ring. In case the driver was knocked unconscious or cannot reach his shutoff inside the cab, we are able to shut down every electrical, fuel, anything running. It all stops with this one pull of this ring right here.
Monster trucks run on methanol racing fuel, and fire is the most dangerous risk that faces a monster truck driver.
Barefoot, Mike, you'll be the first one out on qualifying. The order.
After every safety check is complete, the only thing left before the monsters take to the battlefield is the driver's meeting, where last-minute safety issues are discussed before the race.
Right lane. Don't do any kind of donuts or anything on this front straightaway. There's rocks. You might throw one in the crowd. We got a packed house here this afternoon. In the driver's meeting, we take them, walk them through the course. We tell them the safety standards, give them a show format of what we're going to follow, as well as if they've got a problem with their truck that we need to be aware about or watch for.
It's up to the promoter to create a unique and specialized monster truck show based on his target audience.
I try to create a state fair for gearheads.
Promoters of races such as the Special Events Performance Series use mud drags and tough trucks to get the crowds on their feet.
Mud drags are basically when you take two side-by-side vehicles and they run through a mud pit. And it's similar to drag racing, except it's not on asphalt.
Unlike monster truck racing, the tough truck competition is open to anyone with a truck and the right safety equipment.
The tough truck course is basically a miniature monster truck course. We use strictly dirt and obstacles for them. The tough truck started out as the good old boys. Let's bring our truck out here and see what we can jump and tear up like the big trucks do.
Pace Motorsports couples the dynamics of quad racing with the high-speed agility of motocross and supercross to create their signature events.
We bring in the best cycles, we bring in the best quads. Those people are seeing the best of the best.
In addition to specialized events, promoters create amazing halftime shows to keep the audience entertained.
There's a lot of good entertainment here. It's not just monster trucks. When you come to a show, there's all kinds of things going on.
Some of the other things that we incorporate in a U.S. Hot Rod event are thrills. We also have remote control, the RC cars as we call them.
RC cars provide very good entertainment. They're fast, they're mobile. They can actually jump a full set of cars that the monsters jump.
It's amazing what people will watch, I guess, huh?
We just like to keep the crowd entertained.
While the crowd is busy being entertained between races, drivers can deal with the unexpected mechanical problems that come with racing.
There are hundreds of working mechanical parts in a truck when it's actually competing. And any one of those things can fail at any time.
And everybody helps one another. We're always breaking things, rolling over, and some guy will give you his parts, his spare parts. And, you know, you're going to race him in the next round. He'll be out there helping you fix your truck.
Since most drivers work without a crew, they may be competitors on the field, but they are allies in the pits.
Didn't like that landing. It threw me a little bit. That's okay. You only got one more pass. Remember, you're racing me. I got to race you.
The independent trucks don't have the money that the big name trucks do, such as Bigfoot, to get all the technology in there.
With the advantage of more money, larger teams such as Bigfoot can purchase the latest racing technology, like data acquisition software that enables Bob Chandler to analyze every aspect of his driver's race.
The computer that we use on the trucks downloads, I think, 16 different points. It measures the shock travel. It measures the drive shaft RPM. It measures the engine RPM. We have a sensor on the shift lever, so I know you can see when he shifts.
By studying this data, Bob Chandler can discover what went wrong during a race, and more importantly, how to help his driver win the next one.
This is your last run where you lost a round, but you can pretty well see what happened. You can watch your tires as you left the line here. Right.
Bob Chandler continually strives to make his monster trucks and drivers the best, in the hopes that Bigfoot will always be the one to beat on the monster truck racetrack. Next, how to use your monster to make $1 million.
MySimon.com. It's a lot like this.
This one's got an industrial drive trans. Next comes with a 5-year warranty. Turbo agitator.
This is the same washer my mom uses to wash my clothes.
Next, sound activated. Does it come in pistachio?
Absolutely.
Wish you could shop this way? MySimon.com searches thousands of stores so you can compare brands, features, and prices. MySimon.com. Shopping beyond compare.
Introducing the Isuzu 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want to drive your SUV around town all day? You're covered. You want to take it to the most treacherous backcountry you can find? Be our guest. You want to drive it off a cliff? Well, that's where the limited and limited warranty comes in. America's longest warranty. It covers most everything you do, except, of course, the cliff thing.
I know how. I am able. I'm part of this crazy mix of people and machines. I know how. I can dance with the buttons and the levers and the wires cars. I'm the future. I know how. Canon.
We want to live in our home, not a nursing home.
We want our children to care about us.
Not for us.
I want to grow old gracefully.
With dignity.
All good intentions, but help make them a reality with long-term care insurance from GE. GE gives you options like care in your own home to help preserve your independence and life savings.
I want my grandchildren to inherit more.
More than just memories. For long-term care insurance, think of GE.
Coming to the best of TLC. Step right up and get a front row seat to see the strangest set of folks to ever grace a Midway. Jason Alexander narrates Sideshow. Then at 10, we're all terrified by his books. Then Hollywood turns them into box office gold.
It's for the best.
I like to have my hooks into the reader entirely.
Revealing the dark news of Stephen King. Sunday night from 8 to 11 on the best of TLC.
No, I think I drank bad milk.
Can I take herbal stuff with my prescriptions?
Honey, what should I take?
It's small. I can't read it.
I only put natural substances in my body, thank you.
I'm not sure. I can't.
It's like fake.
Mom, remember you told me not to scratch it? Okay, I scratched it, okay?
It's red.
One more question.
Am I in trouble?
With everyone counting on you, wouldn't it be great to have a reliable place to turn for help? Introducing PlanetRx.com. Besides helpful information, you'll find over 28,000 health and beauty products, including prescriptions. It's better than any drugstore. And now you can choose 3 items for free with your first purchase. Imagine 3 things you use every day, free. At PlanetRx.com, we promise to deliver something out of the ordinary.
Mom, wake up and smell the echinacea.
Echinacea.
Whatever.
Trustworthy advice and everything to keep you healthy. Choose 3 items for free today with your first purchase. PlanetRx.com. Health at your fingertips.
There you go. $12.58. You want a bag for that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. You need a bag. You need a bag.
With constant traveling and the high cost of repairs, monster truck owners depend on the guaranteed income from each race to keep their businesses going.
As far as what monster trucks make at an event, it ranges anywhere from $1,500 for the whole weekend to $7,000 for the whole weekend. And it just depends on how popular you are.
To get the top money, you've got to bring in the crowds. But trucks that race hard to increase their popularity and event fees increase their repair bills as well.
It's not uncommon for these trucks to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year, but it takes a lot of good shows where nothing went wrong to replace one $30,000 engine that's totally lost. You can baby your truck and never tear anything up, but you're not going to win many races, you're not going to make very many spectacular runs, and consequently you'll never get many good paying gigs. Running them hard, going for the win, it'll cost upwards of $150,000 to $170,000 a year to keep one going. Okay, we're getting close. A little bit more, yeah.
Most of the money that a monster truck owner earns goes right back into the upkeep of the truck.
The worst part of being a monster truck driver is paying for the parts that you break. We can lose a lot of money in a short amount of time.
Fortunately, monster truck owners can offset their maintenance costs by renting their trucks out as displays for auto stores, car dealerships, and grand openings.
A display/monster truck can make up to $4,000 or $5,000 in one weekend.
The best part about a display versus racing is every time you take it out and race, you run a chance of hurting something. So it's obviously almost all profit.
And those who hire monster trucks for display share in the profit as well.
Oh, yeah, they got it. Yeah, there's another motor up there.
The sheer size of a monster truck is such an eye catcher that you got to go up and stand next to that tire because that tire is bigger than you. I've got letters from outlets when the truck was there, a 50% increase in sales.
Another way to make a buck off a monster truck is by recycling it.
We've taken old trucks and that we can't race or use anymore and made ride trucks out of them. We drive over cars, we go over hills, we make the turns. You know, it's got front and rear steering, so that's a different feeling and sensation for people when they're riding.
It's a lot of fun. I didn't even go to the bathroom with him.
Ride truck gets used every day. You know, instead of, say, a fair to run 3 days straight, about 10 to 12 hours a day.
At an average price of $4 a ticket, a ride truck equipped with 10 seats can make up to $12,000 in a single weekend. And if you're in the market for a monster, the best place to shop for one is on the internet.
A lot of drivers can get bookings through the internet. Monster truck racing is one of the very few sports where the drivers still make themselves accessible.
Websites keep fans up to date with everything happening in the monster truck world.
If you were to log on to Truck World Online, you would find monster truck event coverage, features on monster trucks. It's just loaded with information.
MonsterZone.com is a monster truck website. We built it up to be what we believe to be your #1 source for monster truck racing on the internet.
It's this immediate contact between fans and monster trucks that has turned out to be a gold mine for the owners.
The drivers have realized that it's a way to make money. They can sell their souvenirs, their t-shirts, they can get email from the fans. It's really a great way just to keep in touch with their fans and realize how much they're appreciated.
And for those lucky enough to have one of the top trucks, merchandise can be more than just supplemental income.
In a year, all Bigfoot merchandise, all totaled together, event souvenirs and the toy product, all those sales would be somewhere in the ballpark of $30 million.
I've got monster truck madness.
One proof of monster trucks' invasion into the mainstream is the involvement of corporate giants like Microsoft, who have hopped onto the merchandising bandwagon.
The Microsoft Monster Truck video game has allowed fans to almost become their own driver, their own monster truck team.
It's the most realistic you can get without actually going out and racing.
With more than 500,000 games sold and new versions of the game in the making, monster trucks have proven to corporate America they've got what it takes to crush the competition.
You won the race that time.
Next, monster truck racing. Is it real or is it rigged?
This TLC program is sponsored in part by SAP, one-step business over the internet.
Coach Taylor worked late one night in the city of E, the first virtual place on the internet, built by SAP, used by 10,000 companies and millions of people. He found all the soccer equipment his champion Jaguars needed in one easy step. He saved time, he saved money, and the Jaguars did the rest. MySAP.com. Welcome to the city of E.
Iron cooking pot, just like your grandma's, $38. Secret ingredients for her legendary stew, $12. Onions, $4. The hour while it simmers, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard, accepted wherever great cooks shop.
What's going on?
Hey.
Wow, this is nice. But I thought Stacy said if you bought new tools, she gets a new dining room set.
Yeah, she did.
So where are the table and chairs?
You're standing on them.
Fine woodworking tools from Rigid. Name proven by pros since 1923. Take our RoboGrip 2, the self-adjusting pliers with larger jaw capacity and more torque. Rigid. Buy them at the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
Pentium 3 processor owners, we designed a website just for you. Intel's Web Outfitter Service. Everything you need for a great internet experience. Rock with your favorite bands for live concert webcasts. Share family adventures. Explore the tallest mountains in the world. Live your life on the web to the fullest. Intel's Web Outfitter Service. Get it now, free at Intel.com.
Tuesday on the Best of TLC. When you're skydiving, the last thing you want to do is stop real fast.
There's a parachuter who went all the way to the ground.
If it wasn't for young adult males, I would have very little business.
Trauma doctors fight to save a life in an Arizona ER. Then, paramedics in Hollywood may not be movie stars.
Rescue 33, respond.
But they're heroes in real life. Later, it's car versus bicycle.
He was wearing his helmet, and that's what saved his life.
Trauma Center, Tuesday at 8 on the Best of TLC.
I'm Dr. Michael Seiss. I'm the trauma director at Scripps Mercy Hospital in San Diego, California. I've watched Trauma Life in the ER over the last couple of years and watched it very closely. Found it to be very realistic. Well, I don't think there's any trauma surgeon who hasn't gone in the bathroom, looked in the mirror and seen tears. Well, I think that it's a very popular show because of the just pure, honest-to-God drama. They're learning about something that's part of real life.
Trauma, Life in the ER, Tuesdays at 8, only on TLC.
Because it guarantees money up front for the participants, there are some who think monster truck racing isn't a legitimate sport. And for some drivers, the stigma of being a paid performer taints every win.
The monster truck drivers would like it to progress into a sport such as NASCAR or something like that, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. I think it's more of an entertainment factor than a sport factor. So why not run with it? Let's give them what they want.
You cannot deny the fact that monster trucks are the professional wrestlers of the motorsports world. I mean, there's theater involved in our events, there's destruction, there's airtime, there's certain inherent relations between the two sports.
Some promoters have created wrestling-themed trucks as a way to combine the huge audience of wrestling with that of monster trucks.
I don't think it's a good fit. People tend to think, for whatever reason, that wrestling is fixed. They also tend to think, consequently, that monster truck racing is fixed. Nothing could be further from the truth.
For those who think monster truck racing is rigged, it's not. When they pull up to the racing line, a lot of pride sets in and a lot of egos, like any other sport or racing series, and they're pedal to the metal, ready to win.
Many insiders believe one thing that could legitimize monster truck racing as a sport would be a championship racing series. Although promoters and sponsors currently put up money to create their own purse races, drivers compete by invitation only. There is no series today that is open to any and all competitors.
What I'm trying to put together right now is a good series, and I want it to be open to any monster truck in the world. If you're the champion of this race series, I want you to be the world champion because anybody can compete in it.
In spite of the lack of a common championship series, drivers and owners have high hopes for the future.
Every year, our fans come out in record numbers. Television coverage gets better. Legitimate motorsports magazines and newspapers are now beginning to recognize that our sport is good racing.
Drag racing is 50 years old. IndyCar racing is 80, 90 years old. So it just takes time.
Monster truck racing has only been around for 25 years, so time is on its side. But no matter what their future holds, monster trucks will always thrill and excite the fans who come to see them. As long as there is another truck to beat and a finish line to cross, drivers will give their all in the secret world of monster trucks.
For thousands of years, people have marked their skin with needles. Some call it art, others a mistake. Either way, it's tough not to notice. Get an up-close look at tattoos, next on TLC. And to make your mark online, go to TLC.com.